I'm Kylie A, and it has been a really long time since I made a video. Um, why? Why has it been so long? Well, I stopped making videos in January, and since then I separated with my husband, and that's really all I'm going to say about that. But so that means that I'm a single mom now, and so it took a while to adjust to that. In my workplace, February to April is super, super busy. And so I didn't really have a lot of spare time for other things during that time of the year. So I had like super high expectations of myself for BookTube. I wanted to film 3 videos a week. I wanted to have aesthetic. I wanted to make videos including my kids. I wanted to vlog. And all of that's great, but when you work full time and you have kids, and you're not really skilled at editing or anything, like I'm just beginner in all of this, it was a lot and it really stressed me out and it took a lot of the fun out of it. So I just stopped. But I did have fun with it before and at the beginning, and I kind of missed being part of that community and filming, so I want to come back. And while I did stop filming, I did not stop reading. So far this year, I have read about 80 books, according to Goodreads. I have participated in 9 read-a-thons. And I tried out some new genres and really discovered that I enjoy YA romance and smutty romance a lot. So just quickly, some of the highlights. These are some of the books that I gave 5 stars to. Daughter of the Pirate King duology. That is a really awesome duology. With like a really strong female lead and a very slow burn hate to love romance. It was awesome. The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I've read the first 2, and then there's a 2.5 that I haven't read yet, and the third one's actually not written yet. But the first 2 were really, really awesome. It's hard to describe, but it's basically the main character is telling the story of his life to a like a person that just like writes books, I guess. It takes place in a different world and there's like magic and things like that. And it was really awesome. Wonder, which is a middle grade. I think the author is R.J. Palacio. And it's about a little boy who was born with a facial deformity, and he is going to go to like an actual school for high school, and before that he's been homeschooled. So it's about like his experiences there, and it's really super heartwarming and I really loved it. The Girl Who Drank the Moon, also a really, really great. I'm not sure what the demographic is for that one, but it's like everyone should read it. It was so good. It was super cute, kind of fairy tale. There's this town where they are taking babies and putting them into the forest as like an offering to this witch, who will supposedly just leave their town alone if they keep bringing the babies. And the witch keeps going every year to get the babies because she's like, I don't know why the heck these people keep leaving these babies out in the woods, but I need to. She saves the baby and go and takes them to like the other side of the woods and gives them to a family to raise them. And it's quite a long journey through the woods though, and so she feeds the babies until she runs out of like actual food, and then she's a witch, so she's magical, and she reaches up and she usually feeds them starlight, but accidentally one time she feeds the little girl moonlight, and it gives her magic. And so the story goes from there, and it's really beautiful and it's a really great story. I also finished the Throne of Glass series, and I believe I gave everything, I think, from Heir of Fire and on. I think I gave them all 5 stars. Like, they were really incredible. Tower of Dawn was my favorite. Irene is my girl. She is everything. She, like, I find, just quickly, I find it, Sarah J. Maas, like, her main female characters are, like, really unrelatable. Like, who can relate to Aelin, who is she's rich, and she's like a super assassin, and she's beautiful, and I mean, it's just so like out there, like I can hardly find anything in her to relate to. But Irene in Tower of Dawn, very down to earth, running around in stained clothes just because, you gotta do what you gotta do, that's my girl. That's who I relate to. So yeah, I loved that series. Kind of a rough beginning. I think I only gave Throne of Glass 3 stars, but I loved Heir of Fire, and from that point on I was in, and I really, really, really loved it. I reread the ACOTAR series again because I'm an ACOTAR stan. I love it. I bought a bunch of merch actually too for it, and yeah. I recently read They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. That one I gave 5 stars. That was really touching, and I was ugly crying at work, so yeah. I started listening to the Pucked series by Helena Hunting. I think that's her name, Helena Hunting, on Audible, and those are really good. There's 6 in the series, and I gave the first 3 5 stars, and then the 4th one 4 stars. The Kiss Quotient I also listened to. That one has autism rep, and it was incredible. I really loved it. Also, on recommendation of my friend Shelby, I read, and it's here and you can see it, the Sookie Stackhouse series. I read the entire thing in like May, June, and I really, really enjoyed it. Paranormal romance. Every book has like 2 or 3 storylines that they're going through and that intermingle. There's a lot of stuff going on. They're really like easy reads. I really love those ones. Super disappointed actually though with how the series ends in regard to the love interest and who Endgame is. At the beginning, that's who I wanted to be Endgame, but then by the end, you really want someone else to be Endgame, and anyways. Okay, and then I also read The Lightning Struck Heart by T.J. Klum, and that was hilarious. I read that on Audible, and there's the one thing that I did notice is there's not a lot of women in the book, like, at all. There's like 2 that have that speak or have anything to do with anything. They're all men, and they're mostly all gay. There's Ace Rep, but like the guy's best, he's a sorcerer magician type of guy, and he's apprentice in training, the main character, and his best friend is a gay unicorn named Gary. and it's just hilarious. You have like talking dragon, and yes, it's an adventure. The dragon gets kidnapped, the prince gets kidnapped by a dragon, and they have to go and get him back. But yeah, it was so good, and I believe it's like a 4-book series, and so I'm gonna keep going with that for sure. What If It's Us by Becky Albertelli and Adam Silvera. That was really cute. I love that. Geekerella, and Nevernight by Jay Kristoff, and The Poet X. Those were all, I think that's like a complete list of everything I gave 5 stars to so far this year. And then the lowest rated things that I read, people are gonna unsub me like already. Alice in Wonderland, I'm sorry. But I feel like most people have read or seen Alice in Wonderland by now. So is it a spoiler? I forgot. Like, I'm a Disney stan, but like Alice in Wonderland was never something that I like was really into. And so I think my kids have even only watched that movie like one time. I have it, but I forgot. Like, I forgot how it ends, and I absolutely hate that. I hate the like she wakes up and it was all a dream is how it ends. Okay, spoiled. Sorry, and I hated it. But I wrote in my book that I have 80% of it was nonsense, and then she woke up at the end, and that's basically what happened. And she cries around a lot. Like, she just. I mean, I know she's very young. I don't know how. I think it's middle grade, but she's really really young, and she just cries a lot. So there's that. Also, there was a book called Night Ambulance that I didn't rate because I DNF'd it. I think I got about 50 pages into this book, and there had been 3 sexual assaults, and it was meant to take place in Eastern Canada in the 1970s, and I'm pretty sure it was meant to be like an issue-driven book, and one of the women was going to have gotten pregnant from one of the sexual assaults, and she was going to the city to try to get an abortion. But I just had to stop because I couldn't handle, and I know that was the whole point, I'm sure, because it took place in the 1970s, but I couldn't handle how the men in the book were talking to the women and how they were treating the women, and it was just revolting, and I just couldn't, and so I just stopped. The next one I'm just gonna do as a pair. There's one called Mistress to the Beast, and there was one called Protector, and they were both smuts that I read because of Zoe. And they both had a bunch of spelling errors and typos and stuff. So it was like they were unedited or just not edited very well. But the stories weren't very good either. The one was Protector was supposed to be a hate to love, and they only hated each other for about 10 seconds. And then Mistress to the Beast was supposed to be a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it was bad and it was very rapey, and I just didn't like it. I think I gave them each 2 stars, or maybe even less. I don't remember. Then there was another one called 15 Dogs. Like, at the beginning, 2 gods, like, I can't remember which ones. I want to say like Apollo and Hermes or something. Like 2 gods were having a conversation or like a debate, and it was like, are humans like inherently unhappy because of their intelligence, or does that not factor into it? Like, and if we gave human intelligence to another like species, another type of animal, would they also be unhappy? And so basically they take a group of dogs, give them human intelligence, and basically they're going to count how many of them end up dying happy or end up dying unhappy. And it was just boring, and everything was over explained, all the points. It was like, I get it, you don't have to like go on for 2 pages like explaining things to me. And so I just gave up. I was buddy reading it with Zoe, and I'm not sure if she ended up finishing it or not. And then the last one that I read it on audiobook, Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, and it was so boring. So I just classics, I can't. So I think I was reading it for a read-a-thon, and the prompt was like something like an intimidating read. the only books that I really like are intimidating to me are classics. So every time that prompt comes up in any readathon, I always pick a classic. But it was just so boring. It was about these two sisters and basically the guys that they're interested in, and yeah, but yeah, just boring. Okay, so the things that I am working on and doing right now, I am currently doing the Newts Read-a-thon. I am working on a potioneer career, so that has 7 books minimum, but because I'm extra, I've picked a book for every single prompt, which is like 36 books, but that's never going to happen. But anyways, yeah, 7 books, and I've only read 1 from like that 7, but I've also read 2 other audiobooks that are just counting for other things. I'm also doing the mythathon that Jesse from Bowties and Books created. What team did I pick? I think I picked Team Air. The novel Lush is the host for my team. And yeah, so I finished a book for a prompt for that, and yeah, that one's a really chill readathon. I think there's only 5 or 6 prompts for each team, and even though it's teams, we're not like counting pages or anything. So and the third readathon, I'm also doing a Disney readathon, and I am on Team Lion King. And we are meant to count pages for that, but I haven't been submitting. That one has a lot of strict rules, though. You're meant to read everything in order, and I don't like to follow rules in readathons, so I have read some of the books already that I declared on that TBR, but I haven't read them in the proper order, so I didn't submit them yet. Currently, I am reading I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. This is like one of Zoe's favorite books, but it's also like a lot of people's favorite books. A lot of people really like it. And unfortunately, I'm not really liking it. I'm at about, where am I at? Am I at like the 200 page mark, I think, ish? 190, something around there. And I can only do like 25, 30 pages at a time. I don't know if it's because I'm not at all like artsy and I just don't care, but there's also like weird things with like the one character is talking to ghosts all the time, and then the other character, when it's in his point of view, he describes things really differently and uses color a lot, and it doesn't always make sense to me anyways, and so I'm not really liking it. I meant to start Renegades tonight for a buddy read with my friend Sarah. I started Fairest by Marissa Meyer on audiobook on Scribd, whatever you want to call it. I have it physically, but I didn't have room for it in my physical TBR, so I just grabbed it on Audible because I pay for Scribd anyways. So, and that one is in the Luna Chronicles. It's a novella that you're meant to read between Cress and Winter, and I just finished Cress a few weeks ago, so I'm moving on to that. And so basically that's where I'm at. What you can kind of expect from me is 1 video a week. But I should be able to have like a higher quality content for you because it's only 1 video a week than from what you were seeing before. Things I've been thinking about is I've been thinking about annotating my original Harry Potters and vlogging that, like as I reread them and as I annotate them. That would be like these ones that I would want to annotate because I am slowly collecting these ones. So these ones would be the ones that I would always read, and then these ones would be just like, they look pretty, don't touch them. And I've also been thinking of annotating my physical copies of ACOTAR as well. just because those are my favorite books, and that's just something I'm thinking about. I've never annotated anything before though, and I know that it can be like tedious, and it's not just like rereading, because obviously like you're writing your thoughts in the books and you're tabbing, and yeah, it's like work almost. But I think it would be fun, and yeah, I think it would be fun. I'm also planning to do like a bookish facts about me video for because my 30th birthday is coming up, so I'm trying to think of 30 bookish facts about me. I think I've got 19 so far. But yeah, I'll keep working on that. I'm gonna do a bookshelf tour of like my TBR bookshelf. So I have over 100 books that I own that I haven't read, and so I'm gonna do a bookshelf tour of that. Zoe, Shelby, and I are doing an annotating project. We're a third done of that, I think. So what happened was we each picked a book, and okay, so I started out, I bought the book that was for Zoe, and it was that crappy one that I said was one of the worst books I read, Protector. And she wanted me to read it and annotate it as I was reading it, and then send it to Shelby in the mail, which I did. And then Shelby's meant to read it and annotate it like along with my annotations, and then send it to Zoe. And so we each have that. So Zoe and Shelby are annotating one for me, and me and Shelby are annotating one for Zoe, and me and Zoe are annotating one for Shelby, etc. So I sent on Protector, but the one for Shelby, Zoe sent it to me, and I keep forgetting about it, and it's called Moxie, and it's about, it's, you know, feminist themes and things like that. So I need to annotate that, and then I have a couple buddy reads planned. I'm going to read Crooked Kingdom next month with Talia, and I'm reading Renegades this month with Sarah, and then next month I'm reading Dread Nation with Sarah. And that's where I'm at. That's everything. That's what I'm doing with my life right now. Like and subscribe if you want to see more from me, and that's all I have for you today. Bye.